Hey, how's it going, Vitaly? This is going to be a quick, not so quick, demo video for you for, I basically got 5 sabers. It's 4 sabers, but one of them's a staff, so it's 5 installs. This would normally be the time in the video where I hold up your saber in front of the camera, but it's a little hard to do that with this bunch, right? So we're just gonna go over my desk. I'm gonna break down each one for you, show you how to use it, show you what I did. Let me know if you have any questions by the end. Thank you so much for always sending me your stuff, and we will get these out in the mail. I will get these out in the mail to you first thing tomorrow morning. Thanks. All right, Vitaly, where do we begin? So I have this absolute pile of sabers that I want to go over with you individually. So, like, you know, I've got your Moon here, or your Moon Custom Armory, custom saber, your Kota, your Hangman. These are the 2 sides to your Night Brother. So we'll just move these out of the way in no particular order, and we can go over, let's go over the Night Brother first. All right, 2 sides, obviously. They're both set up identically. All right, this is the handle. I'll show you how to put it in the handle. I'm not really going to worry about the handle so much in this video because it makes the saber so long that it doesn't fit in the frame. But I can show you here real quick, like if we were to put, you know, this side here, and we put this side here, you can see how much room there is right in the middle, right? So you've got that little gap in the middle for sound venting. Now, although there are numerous holes inside of this handle for sound venting that are underneath the grips, if I kind of went like this, you could see where the gaps are, right? Hopefully you can see that there, and it's the same on every grip. All right, we mainly just kind of utilize the middle ones. All right, so I'm going to put that off to the side. These both have the same chassis. Now I like to do some greeblies here. This particular saber set has the same greeblies because I use the same chassis. They all have greeblies on the chassis, but they're all different, except for the set. All right, so both running Proffies, which is kind of funny. I've been installing for you now for, I don't know, close to 4 years. And we started out this venture where I'd try to sneak in a Proffie. I'd be like, hey, can I put a Proffie in that? And you'd be like, no, absolutely fucking not. So do a CFX. These days, I'm like, hey, is Proffie all right? And you're like, hey, yeah, put in whatever you want. So these ones have Proffie. They are a snap fit into the shelf. They're not glued in. So you can pop the board up here like this if you want to and snap it back down to get it into place. I like to make it to where everything is accessible from right here without moving the board. All right, so your SD card access, your micro USB access, you got a kill switch right here in front of the board. These are running the Smuggler's Outpost dark side speakers that you sent me, so 28mm speakers, removable battery setups. This particular saber on each of these has a little bezel right here, so I have a separate neopixel accent to light that guy up, and they're 2-button setup, so the red switch here will be power. The little guy back here will be auxiliary. All right, so we'll go ahead and spring side for the negative side of your battery. These all take 18650s until we get to the Hangman, and I'll show you that. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna send the 21700 battery with the Hangman. So that snaps in nice and tough. We can come over here and flip the kill switch.
The pleasure's all mine.
This is running a Night Sister font by Kyber Phonic. I didn't see a Night Brother font, so I was hoping this is close enough for now. But as you can see, we've got that doing that until we hit power. These are all running the stock NPXLs that you sent me. All right. That's how you flip that off. So if we turn it on, flip it off from the kill switch, it kills power like it should. All right, so I'm going to take the battery out of this guy. You'll probably need a tool. I made these batteries fit in there pretty snug. That's this one. This one, of course, set up the exact same way. All right, board access, kill switch, dark side speaker, 18650, snapped in, power.
The pleasure's all mine.
Bezel, NPXL, auxiliary. Kill switch kills power, and then take the battery out with a tool. All right, now I'll show you real quick on one of these how to put this saber in. I know you probably know it already, but I want to go over it. You've got these little bump outs here. All right, and if you look inside of each handle, if I can show it, you got there's little cutouts right there in the handle. So what that allows you to do is to come in here, put this piece in, line up that cutout, screw this down. You'd screw this down all the way. When you get that lined up like that, of course you want this piece lined up with the other side. So that's what that allows you to do. Now that I have that in there, I know I can come over here. I can put this in, find the same cutout, line it like that. Now they're opposite, right? They're supposed to be opposite. So this blade piece on the emitter is up, and that's why this blade piece on the emitter over here is down. They're 180 degrees from each other, but that's how you would lock that saber in. I'm gonna have to figure out how I'm going to ship this, because with these sabers installed, they don't fit in the Watto's Junkyard box anymore, but it's not a huge deal. Let me just figure something out. I'll probably just package these separately in some really nice bubble wrap in the box. All right, so I'm gonna put that off to the side. That's your Night Brother Saber. Here's your Hangman. So your Hangman is the only one that has CFX, and that is because I went to go make a chassis for this guy this morning. I opened it up and noticed there was a Shadowfoil Props chassis already in here, so that was very cool. All right, that has the 42 pixel neopixel array right here. This is wired to the LS2 pad that I'll show you here in a second, so you could program that to do whatever you wish. 2-button setup, power, auxiliary, stock NPXL. All right, to get to your chassis, you can do it one of two ways. One way is you can just unscrew this pommel, which is what I'm going to do. The other way is you could unscrew the entire handle from up to right here. I just find it a little bit easier just to take this guy off. All right, when we take that off, it exposes that chassis piece. You want to pull it straight out. Now when you pull it out, like, you want to grab it and kind of yank that guy out. If you let it go, if you just try to do it real slow, there's a 3-prong system in there that's very hard to see. You can almost see it right there that touches these plates. It almost wants to get caught in that little gap between the gold plates and the chassis. So if you go really slow, which I did at first, I was getting hung up. The trick there, grab the chassis, pull it out, you're fine. All right, this is running your CFX board. You will need to pop this up to get to your SD card. So you just pop it up like that and then put it back down. If you feel like this is at any time getting a little too loose on you, you can put a little bit of E6000 there on the sides of the board. I didn't feel a need to do that right now, but you can do that obviously. All right, I almost wired it up with the SD card facing up, which is something that I like to do, but this chassis wasn't quite designed to have the board in that particular layout, so that's why it's wired what many would consider to be the right way. All right, but here are your switches. You have a kill switch right here. All right, 21700 battery. So again, when you want to take this guy out, you probably want to use a tool because it's a pretty tight fit. But that's what your battery compartment looks like. You do have a minus sign and a plus sign inside of your chassis, so that helps. You push that straight down in there, and then we come over here and flip the kill switch. This is just running the stock package on it. All right, now you'll want to pay attention to this flat piece of the chassis when you go to put it inside the saber, because you'll notice you got that piece of a chassis in there. All right, and that's what helps align the switches. So you're gonna want to find that piece, slide it right in. If you don't get it right, then you'll notice right away. All right, but we'll come over here and we'll screw the pommel on. You see, as soon as we tighten down the chassis, you've got your LED array. I've got that kind of pulsing when the saber's off, just to show you that it works. All right, and we'll hit power.
All right, and we'll hit power. All right, and we'll hit power. All right, and we'll hit power. All right, and we'll hit power. All right, and we'll hit power. All right, and we'll hit power. All right, and we'll hit power. All right, and we'll hit power. All right, and we'll hit power. All right, and we'll hit power. All right, and we'll hit power. All right, and we'll hit power. All right, and we'll hit power. All right, and we'll hit power. All right, and we'll hit power. All right, and we'll hit power. All right, and we'll hit power. All right, and we'll hit power. All right, and we'll hit power. All right, and we'll hit power. All right, and we'll hit power. All right, and we'll hit power. All right, and we'll hit power. All right, and we'll hit power. All right, and we'll hit power. All right, and we'll hit power. All right, and we'll hit power. All right,
up. And we'll turn that guy off. All right, so go ahead and take the chassis out of this guy. Now, I did use a mixture of lit PCBs on this particular one. So remember, grab it, pull it right out. All right, the very top has a stock NPXL, and over here I used a KR Sabers V4 Eco PCB. It's got a lot of lights on it itself, so if we wanted to fire it up from here, of course we could. And you get that blade locked up, right? And of course from here, you can just flip that and it kills power like it should. So pretty simple in terms of use. There's a lot going on in terms of the install. All right, so we'll come over here, find that angle, put it in there, and we'll lock that down and put this off to the side. That is your Shadowfoil Props Hangman. Very cool saber. This is the first one of these that I've got to do. So it was that's a very cool chassis setup from Sam and team. All right, here is your Kota saber. You had sent me some wrap, so I put the distressed leather, or the distressed brown leather wrap on here. This is from Defcon Bird, kind of a staple in the community for leather wraps. This saber came as a single button setup, or a single plunger setup, and it was this big guy right here. All right, you had asked if there was a way to make it a 2-button setup. So what I did was I came over here 180 degrees from it. I drilled another hole. I machined this second plunger. This is going to be your auxiliary switch. This is a very sensitive switch, just meaning that you don't have to press down on it very hard at all. It's just like a bam, and it works fine. All right, you've got a NPXL in there. Coming over here, we'll go ahead and we'll take the handle off and we'll talk about it for a second. So this chassis, or this saber rather, when you sent it to me, it came with a chassis. All right, we're gonna put the handle right here. It came with this chassis right here. This was meant to be the entire length of the handle. As you can see, if I hold it exactly where it's supposed to go, it's meant to be the entire length of the handle, and then it kind of stops right here where the pommel screws in, because you have a vented pommel that I have on now, and then you have a static non-vented pommel for display purposes. All right, I chose to shorten up the chassis, obviously, and use the rest of this handle for sound resonance. I think it sounds a lot better this way. However, if you prefer the sound of having, like the end of the chassis all butted up to the tip of the pommel when it's screwed in, and you kind of prefer to have that sound venting, let me know. I am happy to do it before I ship it, or at any time in the future if you want me to print you like a 3D printed tube that goes inside the handle, and it stays inside the handle, and it kind of takes up space from here to here and just stays in there, and it butts up against the speaker when you screw the handle on. I'm happy to do that. Just let me know. No problem. I just did it the way I preferred because you were kind of like, do your thing. So that's what I did. All right, so a few greeblies on the chassis here. Same kind of board setup. No matter what saber I do, I like to have the board set up the same way, the kill switch in the same area. All right, so a few greeblies over here, kill switch, Smuggler's Outpost Dark Side 28mm. This is the Proffie that you sent with some other parts that you sent, so thank you for that, by the way. But this particular Proffie, I don't know exactly where it came from, I'm sorry, it says Dark Wolf and LGT, so there you go. These come pre-programmed with a bunch of sound fonts. There is no extra stuff going on this install. It's a pretty simple 2-button setup. So I left all the fonts on there. I left the config alone. I didn't do anything except wire it up, put the SD card in. You have a bunch of sound fonts here. All right, so again, 18650 battery, snaps right in, kill switch.
I have the high ground.
We come over here and hit power. It's the big one. Stock NPXL. This one, auxiliary. And then you have twist off. That's what it sounds like when the handle's off of it. All right, put the handle on. Screw this down all the way. Tighten that up. Come over here and hit power. To me, it sounds a little bit more beefy. There could have stood to be a few more sound venting holes in here, or maybe one in the middle, but it still sounds fine. Auxiliary.
I've been waiting for this day for a long time.
Just like that. All right, so go ahead and take the handle off this guy. Turn it on real quick. Flip it off with the kill switch and it kills power just like it should. All right. Again, with the tool, they're all pretty consistent because I make all my battery compartments the same size. So you'll find the same level of tightness for the battery holder on all of them. All right. We'll go ahead and screw this handle on, and that is your Rahm Kota. All right. Put this off to the side. And then your last one is this Moon's Custom Armory saber, which is probably my favorite one to do because I like custom sabers, and I got to play around a little bit with the crystal chamber here. All right, so this is a 2-button setup, power being up here, auxiliary being down here. This guy right here holds your PCB holder, which I made in red. All right, you got a red chassis, red carbon fiber chassis, red PCB holder, red switches because you had like a red maroon handle, so I kept that theme. All right, and you have a red glass eye, so I just thought it looked cool for this particular saber. But this is your PCB holder retention. Don't mess with that guy. All right, this is your blade retention. You can mess with that guy all day long. All right, but to get to your chassis, we'll just take off the handle here. Now I did come through and I made the smallest of spacers. I printed that in black and I glued it on here. And the reason for that is I needed to back up the speaker just a tad off the inside pommel here. I lost a lot of room in doing a crystal chamber, but it was very easy to maneuver around that. All right. I machined a crystal chamber for you. You had sent me one. I have seen the one that you sent me before. It wasn't for this saber, obviously, but it was very difficult to try to design around and get something that would fit on there solid. So I just opted to machine one for you. So you got a real quartz crystal in there. Of course, this is made out of aluminum and slightly weathered. I used 2 of these, which is a really, I forget where I get these. I think, I don't even want to guess, right? But I had 2 of these. They have 6 holes. So every other hole got a piece of all thread. Then every other hole past that got a piece of brass tubing. They all have some springs, you know, just to make it look cool. I widened up that hole in the middle and I used a double terminated quartz just like this, and I sat it right in there, sandwiched the 2 pieces like that, and then put it inside the crystal chamber here, and that's what you've got. All right, so one side will look like that and the other side looks slightly different. All right, some greeblies over here, same kind of board setup with kill switch. Dark side 28mm speaker, removable battery setup, 18650. Snap that in there, turn it on.
Empress Palpatine.
All right, so you got that pulsing there until we turn it on. NPXL. All right, and then you put the handle on. Lock it down, tighten it up. Then it's got some beef. It's got some beef. Auxiliary. The loudest saber you've got in a bunch is this one right here. Flip it off with the kill switch just like that. All right. Definitely the loudest saber of this entire set. Let me use 2 hands on the desk. That'll help. All right. And we'll pop that out just like that. But that is how you work this guy. Pretty simple operation. And those are all your sabers, honestly. So your Moon, your Hangman, your Kota, your Night Brother. Let me know if you have any questions. I will package this up, but hang on to them until I hear from you, letting me know that everything looks good. And then I'll get these out to you in the mail to you by tomorrow. Thanks, man.